Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Sorry for all the shuffling about. Right, I've come on today to actually explain a few things because a friend of mine, I'm the Truthful over on Instagram, asked me to make a video on what oracle decks I use and how I use them in my practice. So I thought it'd be a good introduction to some of the oracle decks I use, and also how the oracle decks differentiate from each other. So first of all, do I use oracle decks exclusively? No, but I do use them on a daily basis, and I also incorporate them in with my tarot practice as well. Two oracle decks have been newly acquired, and the others I've had for a few years now, and these are the ones that work for me. They may not work for everyone, but they work for me, and they give incredible insight and answers to some pretty pressing questions. So first of all, I've always used the Lenormand cards for roughly about 20 years now, maybe a little bit longer, before they exploded onto the scene, which I'm glad they did, really, because they was like a completely overlooked deck. So this is the one I'm currently using. I have a few, but this is the one I'm currently using at the moment. This is the Gulliver Lenormand, and it's a 36 card deck with no added extra male-female cards in it, which works completely fine for me. Because I don't particularly need any extra added cards, because I always see the male and female energy in both genders anyway. So if you're looking for a Lenormand deck with extra added cards, this isn't the one, but there are plenty of others available now on the market. What I do love about certain Lenormand decks and not others, this one I absolutely adore, because it's just got the symbolism on the cards. There's no added extras. There's no busyness in the background of the cards whatsoever. So when you see clouds, you see clouds. You don't see nothing in the background like you do with some of the more modern ones, which kind of like puts me off the whole deck. I like something with simplicity, something clear, and something really, really easy to read, especially if you're doing a grand tableau. You can make out the shapes and the symbols straight away. This one has got the playing card symbol in the corner if you feel the need to read with those as well. I personally don't, but it's very discreet anyway. It's got the number on the top as well, and so you can see there a letter is a letter, nothing else. So this is what I love about this deck. I recently acquired this deck a couple of weeks ago, and it is my to-go-to Lenormand deck at the moment. So I love the contrast of the black and white on here as well, and you know, as I said, you know, from a distance I like to see, you know, what's what in front of me without focusing on unnecessary symbols added in the Lenormand cards. Because if you put this next to original Lenormand deck, which is this one that's just been, this is the Grand Tableau Lenormand cards. It's just been released by Los Scarabeo. All that's been changed on this deck is the colouring. This is actually one of the original Lenormand decks. I think it's a Dondorf Lenormand. And so you can see that a tree's just on there, tree's a tree, a child's a child, and so forth. You've got nothing extra added in the background. So that's one of my first decks I use, Lenormand. As I said, I've been using for years. I do Lenormand readings as well as tarot readings separately, and they both work fine for me. The second one I've been reading now for a couple of years is the kipperkarten. These were a German deck originally. This is the Mystical Kipper. Obviously you can get different versions of the Kipper. I do have the original 19th century version. This is a modern version. Also Kipper cards are very directional as well, so depending on what's in front, what's behind the card, it completely changed the meaning. These are very chatty. They deal with daily, everyday situations. They're brilliant to use as well, and these can also offer incredible insight. Now what I have got, which I will show you, is if somebody's beginning, starting out on a journey with Kipper and Lenormand, there is a little bit more material out there now than what there used to be. And one book I can highly recommend for the Kipper is The Art of Kipper Card Reading by Alexandra Musra. There's a couple of typos in here, but it doesn't, it's published by, I think this one was self-published, I'm not sure. I thought it was published by, I can't remember the name of the company, the Australian company. But it's cool. It gives, you can also buy a standalone Kipper deck as well, which I like, which is illustrated in the book. So what he does, he explains every single card, and he gives the meanings with another card as well. So you've got extensive lists in this book as well, which I have used quite heavily over the last couple of years. And it also gives you an incredible base knowledge to learn the Kipper cards. Another book I've recently acquired, which is one of the better books on the Lenormand, is The Petite Lenormand, a comprehensive manual for the 21st century card reader. This is by Lisa Young Sutton, who also started reading Lenormand a few years ago now. This is one of the better books as well. She does not give paired readings in here. She does every single card individually. It's absolutely brilliant. She shows you how to answer yes and no questions in here as well. Let me see the contents of the front of the book. I have got other Lenormand books, one by Ron George, Sylvie Steinbeck, and a couple of others. But this one kind of is easy to read. It's easy to understand. There's no spiritual woo in here really. So she tells you basically to stick to a system that you're using, and it's really good. So there's another book. So this is my Lenormand and the Kipper cards out the way, and both can be used as just as insightful as tarot. The third deck I use a lot is the Sibila Cards, and the Sibila Cards are Italian. These are absolutely fabulous, guys, honestly. This is a reproduction of an original Kipper deck, Sibila deck. It's got the titles in Italian on the bottom, but it does come with a tiny little guidebook in the box. This is the Everyday Oracle. So you've got on the front, you've got the Everyday Oracle, and then you've got the Vera Sibila Italiana. And inside the box you get, this is published by Lo Scarabeo. I've got a couple of these in different versions. So you've got the divinatory meanings there. So it's really easy. So it gives you a jumping off point to actually use as well. So this is four language, 6 language version, maybe 4. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 4 languages in here. So yeah, this is another one I've been using for absolutely years now. Probably longer than the Lenormand, because these really are good. You can do all sorts of different spreads with them. Also, I'll use these directional as well. There is some information available on the Sibila cards. There's been a site up for years called Ask My Cards or Ask the Cards, which is a brilliant resource for everything Sibila. And there's also a couple of books as well you can buy, but none. I think there's one in English that I've seen. But you know what? They're very, very self-explanatory. So you really don't need to kind of have any books, just a base knowledge of the meanings. They've also got the playing cards, so the playing cards and the number. And at the bottom, which is really cool, are the lottery numbers. So basically what you can do, you can shuffle the deck and then find out, obviously there's none on that one, but there is on most of them. So these two I've pulled, there's no lottery numbers on these. Right, okay, so you've got 52 and 6. So you could help these as well to pick your lottery numbers, which is super cool as well. No, I haven't won anything when I've used the cards as a guide to pick my lottery numbers, but never mind, one day maybe. So that's another one. Now, two I've recently acquired, I absolutely love. This is the Oracle Bellini or Bellini. This was a deck that was many years ago by an occultist, and he put all his symbolism in the cards. The artwork is very crude, very naive, but I'll tell you guys, it's absolutely phenomenal. These are the planets, so every card has a particular meaning. It's simple to use and it gives uncannily accurate readings. I actually got a corner rounder to mine because they come in a lovely kind of fake leather box, but the corners are incredibly sharp. So I got a 5mm corner rounder to mine, and they're easier to shuffle and a lot easier to handle. So, right, how you read these cards. You get this book by Sylvie Steinbeck, and this is The Secrets of the Bellini Oracle. It's absolutely brilliant. There's so much work gone into this book. So what Sylvie does, she gives an introduction to the person who actually created the deck in the first place. She's got symbolism, she's got the colour palette, astrological references, keywords, and the description, the analysis and interpretation. She's got Edmund Bellini's original meanings in the book as well, astrology, and then Sylvie's own meanings there. And it's brilliant, honestly. I'm always picking it up, and you got physical descriptions of people, psychological descriptions of people, and health attributes as well. So this book's a bit of a tome, but it's brilliant, and you can kind of learn a lot. And in the back there's readings and case studies as well. So because the information on the Oracle Bellini is very limited in English, I do suggest that you would get this book. I think there's 2 or 3 versions of the Oracle Bellini. This is the original version, which I absolutely love. It's got kind of like an old aesthetic to it. So this is a deck that I use all the time as well. And this is another one that you could use without using your tarot in your practice. So that's another one, guys. The last one I've started to use heavily is the Oracle de la Triard, and it's by Dominique Duplat, and this is another incredible deck. It's a French deck. I didn't see it very often until a couple of years ago on Instagram, but I think it's been around now for quite some time. Let me just check when it was actually created. 1998, so that's quite a while ago. There's 57 cards in here as well, and what the cards do, right, so at the beginning of the book you've got it all in French, and then you flip the book over and you've got the English meanings as well. So basically you've got like readings and you can use them. Then you got the cards interpretations, so you've got little titles like Alpha, which is the beginning, Star, Isolation, Delta, Lies, Water, Root, Door, Nadia, Wisdom, Success, Temptation, and so forth. And this is another incredible deck that gives you so much insight, with or without an added tarot reading. I've actually been using this quite a lot. I've had it for a couple of years now. There is a standalone book you can buy by Dominique Duplat. She actually explains all the symbolism in the deck as well. Sadly, because I can't speak French, I didn't actually get the book, but I would love the book to come out in English. There's not many resources again online in English. There's a brilliant site though, where you can get all the meanings and little bits of added extras as well. So yeah, it would be lovely to know what some of the symbols mean on these cards. So if anybody has got any added information for me, that would be great if you could let me know. I'm on Instagram as Martin in the City. It used to be Tarot in the City, the same as my YouTube channel, but since all the scammers, I've took all my tarot content out of my bio. So this is another incredible deck as well. You know, I think some of these French decks get completely, well, some are European, mostly European decks completely get overlooked. And I've just noticed there's a pattern here that I didn't notice before. All of these decks are quite old, especially the Lenormand and the Sibila. So with me then, obviously, I prefer something that has a lot of integrity, more so than using angel decks or anything like that. Of course, I've got, like, you know, newer oracle decks and stuff where I use, but it's mainly just for a message of the day or something like that. Would I give someone a reading with an oracle deck the same as a tarot deck? Not these kind of decks, no. This is the brand new Celtic Spirit Oracle, which is absolutely beautiful. It's a new release from Rockpool Publishing, and it was created by Nicola McIntosh. It is stunningly beautiful, but I think some oracle decks, you know, have the particular place. Maybe 1 card, 2 card when you feel like you need a bit of motivation or an affirmation. But you know, you can use this deck, like, obviously for a reading, but I wouldn't read with a client solely with this. I'll probably either start a tarot reading or end a tarot reading with it. It's got 36 cards, the same as the Lenormand, but obviously it doesn't work the same way as the Lenormand does. But you have got cards with jumping off points like Dream, Manifestation, Plan and B. Sacred Waters is all about healing. Celestial is all about cosmos, creation, spiral, and so forth. So you can use these cards. Some oracle decks obviously are more geared towards spiritual advice rather than practical advice. And some oracle decks I really would not give the time of day for to. I have got a really cool oracle deck collection building up from a company in the UK called Witchwood Oracle. And their oracle decks are based on old style fortune telling cards. So with these decks, you don't get a guidebook, but you get 2 little instruction cards, some in 3. These are 30 card decks or 32 card decks in some of them. And these are quite sufficient as well to use in a reading as a standalone reading without a tarot deck. Because the meanings are on here, you've got things like magpies, a good omen, joy, spontaneity even, scissors, practicality, common sense, inspiration. So they're aesthetically lovely as well. I actually edged mine in a copper kind of archival ink to kind of like match up with the old aesthetic of the deck, and this one kind of looks old and tea stained. It's really cool. I have used this in readings for people, and people have said that it's absolutely brilliant. So they do 4 or 5 different decks of this kind of style. There's a Victorian one, there's a pocket one, and you know, you can find them over on Instagram or search for them on the net. It's called Witchwood, spelled W-Y-C-H Wood Oracle, and I think they're available on Etsy as well, and they do have some really cool sales on as well, so sometimes some of the decks are kind of off price. So yeah, these are the oracle decks, so that I use all the time extensively, and as I said, the Lenormand and the Sibila cards I've been using for years now. And I just wanted to give you some advice on different decks, what you can use them for. Are they any good for, you know, long readings, you know, intensive readings? Yes, they are. The ones I've got here are, yeah. But like, I mean, you know, I'm surrounded by oracle decks at the moment, and some of them are good for, as I said, daily advice or an affirmation, or when you need a little bit of a pick-me-up, just to make, you know, feel better. So I hope you found this video useful, guys. Please feel free to subscribe to my channel, and I'll be back again. Any questions, please either message me on here or over on Instagram, and I'll do my best to help. And if you need any videos, you want me to do a particular video, please feel free to ask. So I'll see you all later. Have a lovely day. Bye, guys.